Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 8 of Rannoch, our vanilla city Skylines build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Last week we ended up having a lot of fun with this elevated BRT system, which already is getting a fair bit of use. So today, I'd like to give them an actual reason to use it. I'm eyeing up a lovely stadium build in this space here to sit adjacent to our highway. We always love a little bit of highway configuration, alongside some residential expansion because we do need to start hitting these population milestones. We've got 1800 to go to the next one, which does give us a new tile, which I think we'll probably start heading toward the downtown spaces next. Probably grabbing 1, 2, and 3 of these tiles here, I think. That's the plan, anyway. But we do still have a lot of space to fill over here. Now, you guys last episode gave me the idea that maybe we shouldn't tunnel all of these networks. Instead, what we should be doing is having kind of a big arterial bundle of tram, road, cycling and metro, all elevated crossing the delta. I have never been on board for something so much in my life. That sounds like an incredible amount of fun, so we'll absolutely plan for that, probably in another episode, because I also want to reclaim a fair bit of this real estate that the highway is occupying, because this is like prime waterfront vibes, right? I don't really want a massive highway coming through here, so we'll likely rework the highway with that big arterial bundle to cross over the big delta as well. Thanks for all suggestions on that, and it's so nice to read all your lovely comments on Kokai every week. However, we'll get started with today's meat and potatoes, shall we? So, I think we're going to remove the wind power for right now. I don't mind having some wind in, but it's not really viable here anymore since this is pretty much premium real estate. Now, we might need to place another power plant, but we've got the scope to do that here if we need it, but eventually we do need to rework a lot of this starting industry. A bit of it has abandoned now in favour of the oil refinery over there. It's definitely siphoning any industrial demand that we get. Cool, so let's first of all dive into the wonderful world of stadiums. Now, if you don't have Bad Peanuts content creator pack for sports venues, I don't know how you're playing the game. This is one of the best ones. You should absolutely be playing with this. Now, we used a lot of these stadiums in Orchid Bay, pretty much all of them, actually, beside a couple. Now, I'm pretty sure we never used the Horseshoe Stadium, or we might have put it in the Olympic Park more toward the end of the series. But I think I'm on board with this one. It's a real nice piece, isn't it? Very, very dramatic, very landscaped. And I'd love it to be very visible on this arterial approach here. And I reckon we'll probably develop, I guess we could use this one as the sort of BRT stop for it, couldn't we? I guess we'll sort of see and find out how busy that gets. Maybe some elevated pathways might be quite nice. But in terms of orientation, let's trim this back here. I'd love to have it kind of face, having this way facing into the roundabout. I think might be quite nice. So let's prepare for that. I'd love to have 2-lane roundabout, and let's draw in a little 45-degree frame here if we can. Something like that. Then let's align our stadium here now. So, is that pretty much in the middle? Let's check the drive-by and the orientation here against the neighbourhood. I do like that there. It also blends in quite nice with this, doesn't it? I'm happy to make a bit of a academy with this as well, perhaps. Which is also very achievable because we have the campus right nearby too. So we can borrow some assets from that if we need. And this is still a pretty visible beast from the highway. I think a sensible distance from the highway to not have baseballs flying onto the highway either, which I'm sure sports police will be onto us if we did do that. But I think I'm happy with that, right? That's going to be quite nice. However, I do not want this to be the main entryway for it. Maybe something like that isn't what I'm after. So let's get our stadium positioned here. We'll have it like there, and then we'll wrap this thing up with pedestrian roads. And of course, introduce a service point somewhere as well. So we'll make sure that the entire stadium is boxed in with a pedestrian road, and then we can use this to, of course, service the stadium area, and we'll also add in pedestrian connections on nearby roads as well. Straight onto the arterial, I'm probably not a massive lover of that, so I think we'll avoid it in that case. So we can have this here. I'm going to be happy with that right up against the roundabout there. It's very impressive, isn't it? Of course, vibes for a big stadium like this, plenty of car parking. Now, I always get criticised for the amount of car parking I use, despite the fact that in America, there's places that literally look like this. So please just accept the amount of parking the stadium has. We will put it in today. So I mean that sits and fits perfectly for the ploppables. So I'm more than happy to have that straight across the street. Now I'd love to explore having an elevated pathway here leaving our BRT system. So why don't we have a little mooch at that? It looks like we might have to just roughly extend the bus system here though. Just want to drag it out a little bit. That's fine by me. And then let's grab that small pedestrian road and basically just from here we want to make sure we can actually get over there. So come up by 6 or so-ish meters. I think that's what we did this side, wasn't it? And then just feed these straight across as a bit of an elevated skywalk. Going up to 9 meters to get across the road. And then where do we want to send this? I guess we can just, as long as it crosses the road, everyone's going to be happy, aren't we? And then we'll come back down here. And then feed that both sides so people can make use of that space there. Which of course will partner really well with some airport aprons for the continual concrete plazas that we continue to build around Rannoch. Because they're just the best assets the vanilla game has ever received. For making believable kind of cohesive space that you'd find outside an arena like this. So I won't do concrete everywhere. I realise I can maybe a bit over the top with it, but we'll deal with it. Cool. So driving past this big stadium, you've got all the parking over here on your right. I'm going to be happy with that. BRT system should hopefully get very busy now on a match day, ferrying people back and to here. I can kind of see this open space at the front here, like really crying out for a fountain. Now, there is a unique building we could use, which is the tourism one. We'd have the fantastic fountain here. Now, of course, it won't fit, but we can always use our misalignment process to make it fit if we need. I do really like that here, outside of the stadium. So I think we'll actually bring that in. But obviously it's not level, so let's just create a misaligned grid where we can actually then bring our fountain through. Very nice. So that gives us pretty much what I'm after there. Now, again, I wouldn't mind having people cross on the roundabout. It's not totally out of the realms of possibility, but I think because this is going to be, at some point, a massive arterial road, I just want to make sure that that doesn't become a future problem. So maybe lots of elevated pedestrian crossings over this is the way to go. I think that's probably what we'll go for, I think. I am, however, not a massive lover of how this ends, so I'm wondering if we can actually just draw in some pathways there. I think that's what I'd prefer to do, and then if that's 11 units out this side, can we also repeat the same thing here so it's symmetric in its design? Complement yet again with more appropriate airport apronage where it's needed. And then that gives us a bit more of a larger plaza space then, doesn't it? Fencing and detail to be had around the edge here too. And a really kind of bold, prominent front to the arena, isn't it? I'm happy with that. I would like to put trees here on the pedestrian road, but I think it might dominate the stadium a little bit, so I think we might just go for some tasteful roadies. If not, maybe a little bit of linden on the occasional section, maybe. Maybe we can mix and match instead. Very nice. Very cool. Cool. So that's that bit in. Obviously, our main stadium. I'd love to now build a bit of a baseball campus, if you like, off the back of this. Something where people could train. An academy, if you like. So Parks and Plazas is the next stop. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a little bit of sports venues. Now, we've got the baseball complex, which of course is larger than the arena itself. It's absolutely bloody vast, this thing. It is absolutely huge. But I do quite like it. It does, however, place us a little bit closer toward the highway. Although if I am using Find It for extra vanilla props these days... Oh, by the way, I totally forgot to mention this last episode. Scope also turned the other Rannoch sign entries, well, basically the top winning 3, obviously this one being the winner, into assets, because they were all so good. So I'm thinking what we can do with these is kind of have them as like their old kind of like 80s and 90s tourist boards before the new modern design came in. So across very small spots of Rannoch, you'll find the runners up, with obviously the newer sign being the more prominent. So big shout out to Scope again for turning those in, and thanks for entering the logo competition. It was a lot of fun. Side note there. But what was here, if we search for fence, I can actually use the prism fence on the prop line tool here with Find It from the After Dark DLC. And then essentially provide coverage, essentially, you know, kind of extending these things out here, where it would somewhat make sense to have the protection of the baseballs against the highway. I realise it is a literal prism fence, but from an aesthetic point of view, you can't particularly tell, can you? I don't think. I think I'd be happy with that. Cool. So, big baseball thing here. The orientation of this thing is important, of course. So let's grab ourselves a little asymmetrical road here. Baseball training thing on this. So grass line all the way up. And then it's likely we'll probably feed this off to the rest of the campus. Now we've also got some interesting action here. I mentioned this last episode as well, about possibly cracking open this interchange and allowing a local road to connect into it. We'll see how viable that ends up being. Cool. So we have this now. Let's spin this around. We want it pretty much level with there so people can get through. And now because we have all these vanilla pathways here, which is very exciting, let's for example bring one out here. And then we're also going to extend the Mercer Tech Institute as well, just to borrow some of its assets. So we want to grab the campus area. And this just wants to hop across the highway. We'll paint ourselves out a little square. So this is going to be a great way for us to get that campus up to level 5 as well, which is what we want to do, of course. And then just peel that back. There we go. And now when we push this out, I can, for example, go ahead and borrow something that's at least sport related. So gymnasium, for example, because these are campus assets, they will place on a path, which means we can build little mini custom campus areas like this. Of course, you'll have to excuse the parking spaces unless you have Bob, but you could pretend they're for like mobility scooters or like maybe like an on-site scooter or something like that. You can get creative if while you want to still have them there, I suppose. So that's what I'm thinking. I'd obviously like to have this campus or this pathway connect into all the other regions where it would also make sense to. So we can have a little bit of that in there as well. I think it'd be quite tasteful, wouldn't it? I'm going to enjoy that. And then there's also the fountain here as well, isn't there? Which I would really actually like to try and use as a bit of a design piece, maybe. Now I know in Orchid Bay we had the memorial for John McBaseball. So maybe Rannoch's hero can be called Homer McRun, perhaps. I'll let you guys try to come up with something a little bit better in the comments. But the point of that, of course, is to give purpose to actually using the trade school fountain here near the, I guess what would you call it, the academy campus of Rannoch's most gifted baseball player, is the general consensus there. So we can do this as the Homer McRun Memorial Fountain. Okay, and then that's like perfectly, well, very nearly aligned with the... Oh, am I going to have to align that? I might want that centralized with the stadium. It was really easy to do, it's just to knock everything over a little bit. I think that's probably worth doing, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. Oh, look at that, we're getting a match day though. That's very exciting, isn't it? That is very exciting. Definitely want to also provide more connectivity here as well, where it would make sense for match-going fans. Maybe not at that exact angle though, it's a bit awkward, isn't it? Let's draw that straight down and then we'll just have the road connect into it again. There we go, that's what I wanted. Cool, so I'm loving that, I really like it. I did also want to explore some possible slip ramp action for this side of the highway too. Now I know we do have on and off ramps in one direction. Now, I do always make a point that not every highway interchange needs to be this massive omnidirectional beast. Sometimes you can just have the occasional slip ramp just to help alleviate traffic further down the road. But I think whilst we're getting a stadium here now, it would make sense to be having some omnidirectional slip ramps here. Let's do some sloping up here, just so we're not immediately back down again. And then we can use this to border our campus. So we'll come off with 2 lanes in the same direction. Let's do a little 5 curve there. Then we'll come back down into 1 lane. And then we'll just start snaking off. And this can run parallel for a little bit to somewhere about there, I reckon. So go into 2 for a little bit longer. And then as we approach the highway, we'll add in that 4th slip lane. So people can merge on a little bit more sensibly. And it probably makes sense to take that down to the next slip ramp, actually. I'll give the dedicated turn there. Boom. So people can get back on the highway that way. And then in terms of giving them a way off here, there is one right here. I was going to say maybe we could connect it into this junction where it's already getting quite a lot of traffic, isn't it? But I think maybe we'll just do it in here instead then, right? Let's grab our 2 lanes at the top of the junction. And then we'll come back down into 1 lane as we prepare this little slip ramp here. We'll roughly try eye up where we've got that other one too. Something like that. There we go. So now we're separating the entry-exit points as well, so they're not all meeting at the same junction. That can also really help too. And then same process, where we do have those slip ramps, it's going to make sense to have 4 lane all the way down to the next junction now. But that's really going to supersize, chub up our highways a little bit, isn't it? Actually wouldn't mind. We never name highways, do we? It's probably because I play with road names off though, isn't it? Let's go ahead and change that. Just display road names. And then we'll do the Chubb Highway. Does that change further down here? No. So does that change the whole thing to Chubb Highway? It does, doesn't it? Yeah. This is the whole Chubb Highway. Or maybe in response to that, this can be the Chubb River or something. Because we never actually name the rivers in the game, do we? Yeah, we name everything else, all the districts and the buildings and the campuses, but we ignore the geographical features. So I guess besides Mad Mountain in Orchid Bay, for example. But anyway, I digress. Oh, hello, power shortages. You alright? You are not at all. So what do we have unlocked at the minute? Another geothermal would obviously be quite tasteful. And probably the most appropriate. I've run out of room pretty much now in the oil refinery for another power plant. I'll stick it in there for right now, which should clear up power issues, but that's not a permanent fixture. It's probably a sign, actually, we need a dedicated power plant area soon. One of our larger capacities, solar plant, it doesn't... I know it's a very nice day today, but this doesn't seem the climate does it for a solar plant. It's 10 degrees. Can't imagine a solar plant would be the most efficient here. Nuclear is still quite a long way from being unlocked. And there's nowhere we can dam just yet. Yeah, we can't really dam all this up here. We don't have the tiles for it. Yeah, so maybe we need to look at an early game oil power plant. Or maybe something based around the coal station. Now we have these in the game. Yeah, but some kind of dedicated power area is clearly needed at this point in the game anyway. So let's have a look how our new area is sitting from Sherry. There you go, you can see the high school baseballers playing in the visible distance of the new stadium here, which of course we do need to name. So we'll name it after one of our beautiful patrons today. I've had Tiberius recently join the stadium, which is a very cool name for a stadium regardless. So thank you so much for all your Patreon support, Tiberius. Welcome to the Patreon, my friend. It's nice to have you here. Would you look at this? Would you look at this, everyone? The very reason I play this game is for this moment right here. This delicious collection of walking ants. As much as CS2 is improving, and I really enjoy playing the game, it really misses this bustle, doesn't it? Just great. People pocket carring too, love to see it. Car parts getting used as well on a match day, that's exactly what... Oh yeah, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Yes please, that's so good. That is so very good, isn't it? Exactly how I wanted them to use it. Everyone using that elevated pathway to get across over toward the baseball stadium there. Very nice indeed. Love that. Super cool. Cool, so that leaves us at that there. People are using the highways to move around. Everyone's pretty happy. There's probably some lane math we can do to arrange these roads here. So let's just come into our large roads again. So we're going to want to pull out some chunky 6-lane boys and possibly asymmetrical boys here as well. So let's do asymmetry here. We'll have a dedicated right turn. That's fine. These guys are fine. That's the off-ramp. Over here, we could have one. I think I'd be pretty happy with that there. Gives them the dedicated turn onto that one again. And then likewise, and then I guess we could also do it here with a bit of a grandiose 6-lane coming down into the town there. Just to handle those volumes, so I won't be totally against that, I don't think. Gives us a dedicated turn lane here at the busier junction too, doesn't it? Where there is a little bit of traffic for the first time. You guys alright? It's probably not the smartest junction on my half there, is it? I reckon that's just a stupid vanilla traffic light issue though, so we'll just turn that off. Everyone should be happy with that. Go straight through. So I think across the street, we still haven't met the demand for a service point yet either, and we also have demand for garbage collection in the city as well. So what I'd like to do is make a little kind of mini industrial area across the street that is here to service the stadium. You know, it's a place where all the bins and all the garbage are taken after match day, where maybe any kind of stewards that are working the event meet up to sort of figure out the plan beforehand, for example. You get the general idea. So we'll have this here, and let's paint out the pedestrian mall where we need it. This here, and then this one here too. That should give you guys pedestrian access. Yeah, you've just got garbage there, which is fine, so that should get collected by the service point now. And then again, with a little bit of airport apronage, we can just have a detailable space here where we can get some containers in. Some of the little recycling things as well from plazas and promenades will work nice in here. We can have that there. And then this will actually look pretty nice up against our kind of very modernized BRT system that the city is so proud of. But you know, when you look out the window, you kind of see the grisly innards of Rannoch as it actually operates as a city. Whether the defense police are going to be on me for that because the spikes are backwards. Let's let's change that. Defense police are some of the most aggressive of the police. So do have to be careful for them. Let's have that one come down. And then for some reason, I'm feeling a Eastern Cottonwood line between the walking pathway and the fence there too. Something like that, I think, will help add a little bit of functional service area to the stadium here, ain't it? Oh, would you look at that? Isn't that just absolutely fantastic? That's just great. Great animation on the stadium, isn't it? Did they win? Very keen to know. They did. Very good, boys. 49 grand in ticket sales as well. We will whack those ticket prices up then, I think. And it's Rannoch versus Spring Valley next time. It'd be really good if it would like pull your other city names out of a pool for that, wouldn't it? So we could actually have Rannoch versus Orchid Bay. That would make me very happy. Having just realised what we did with the road here, there is technically a free tile here. So I wouldn't be totally against bringing that back up to 9 meters and then allowing our match-going friends to actually hook into the elevated walking system like that and bring it down. I mean, I guess these guys will all have predefined paths anyway, but oh, there you go. Yeah, they're already using it, aren't they? Would you look at that? Yes, please. Get a screenshot of that. That is the best. So many people on the BRT already, right? Let's just follow this. So, bus loads up. High-speed road. Straight back. This is essentially metro, how fast that is. Still pretty full, I hope, anyway. Let's have a look at the bus itself. Yep, 70 people. On a match day, we can even justify higher capacities than that. They get off. Yes, boys. And then, are they all going to get off at the intercity stop now? I guess there'll be a lot of tourists as well, won't it? So I reckon that's they'll catch the intercity connection out here. Yeah, there you go. So there's all the match day going fans. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, holy smokes. So much walking porn already. I am extremely happy right now. This is beautiful. This is fantastic. Anyway, feels now like a good point for a little bit of detailing. We're going to get some commercial in along here, bars, etc. for the sports people, and then carry on fleshing out our campus idea. And I'm probably going to have to align that to be central with the rest of the stadium. I think that's going to be criminal if I don't do that, isn't it? So we'll get that sorted as well. Then round off the networks, trees, fencing, props and detailing and all the things we love and know, and probably some low density residential in these frames we sketched out last time as well. But otherwise, let's do some detailing of the Tiberius Stadium, and then we'll be right back. Okay guys, let's have a little mooch around the new stadium area, shall we? So we have a little commercial centre over here in suburb with some like park work just around one of the stops along the BRT system here. Then as we head toward the road, we actually have a ton of people parking on here, which is slightly annoying. Guess we could change this one for the one with wide sidewalks, but I think otherwise that's going to be a traffic manager job, isn't it, to repair that? But all these area here has been linked through pathways. You can see people taking the path there back to the fantastic fountain, which I did actually forget contains path nodes on it. You can actually link this thing in at the different sides, which is quite nice. And so that happens all the way around here with some bollard work. And then over here we do have our commercial, which is a nice little kind of front-facing kind of commercial strip actually against this arterial road. Actually looks quite nice, especially with the asset selection we've got in here as well. But shrimpy subs and salads. First time I've ever noticed that sign before actually. But lots of commercial nearby to the stadium, of course. It is a match day again, thankfully. During the daytime time, that was you the match has started. So we should see the absolute flurry of sims arriving during the cinematics, of course, which will always be nice. Over here, linked in the path network of the campus district in with some more parks. There's also a restaurant over here as well, which is called the Le Business restaurant. So maybe there could be a player called Mark Le Business or something. A famous player who had a restaurant on the campus named after him. Then we spur into the cafeteria with some tables out here. Gymnasium is just next door, and then our dormitory is also over here too. Places where players could sleep, live with their families and whatnot while they are training and working on campus. But there is also a pond here, which just rounds out those kind of external path networks, all links in together. And then some benches around the Homer McRun memorial fountain, of course, which is all now perfectly aligned right up to the head of the baseball stadium, which is very much appreciated. So that's all really cool there. Lots of people moving about the campus now as well, makes it look really active. Love pairing this big baseball complex with a baseball stadium. We did something similar in Oakham-based downtown, of course, with the John McBaseball Academy. But, you know, much more of a kind of suburban setting here than right in the middle of a city. Over here, just got some plazas at the entrance to, well, one entrance to the campus where all our parking is. For that heads off currently toward a dead tar boundary. We'll carry on expanding down there in the future, alongside the BRT system over here as well. Over here, just got some light prop work, benches in around the stadium, cafes, ice cream stands, food trucks, etc. Selling lots of actually very attractive ring donuts, which I've never noticed before. That donut texture. And then over here there's a cafe with planters, and then our elevated skywalk kicks in, which is getting lots of use, which is very nice. Also linked that back over the other side as well. So very few people crossing the arterial, which is nice. They tend to be using the elevated pathways here, which of course is helping to keep traffic flowing. Of course, we've got two big, popular, unique buildings here, so it's going to be drawing a lot of sims. Importantly, have the traffic infrastructure around here to manage that. And then our new interchange here are obeying the lights, and everyone keeps flowing nice and smoothly. Again, as with the rest of these kind of service interchanges, the more we have of them, the better. So any pressure we can take off of this further down the line, possibly by cracking open this one, but I think I'm going to wait for the tar boundary to open before we attempt that. Then of course we'll take pressure off of the other ones as well, which will always be quite nice, of course, won't it? And then over by our BRT, we just have a bit of essentially dead space, overgrowth by the public transport networks and by the industry as well, as we did just expand the service point and the recycling centre out with some sensible vanilla props, bins, shipping containers, recycling crates and whatnot. Everything that would need to be essentially tidy up the stadium after match day. It's all stored there just off-site. And it's ended up being a really cute campus and a very cool first stadium build for Rannoch indeed as well. But otherwise, guys, that will do it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let's thank you all the patrons for all their fantastic support, with a special roll call to Louis Adlin. If you're interested in getting involved in Patreon, Rannoch is there on early access every week, alongside an exclusive podcast. There's previews and a lovely little community to be had on Patreon. So if you're interested in getting a bit more egg in your life, definitely check that out. And of course, there is also the instant gaming link as well, which will help save you a ton of money on your favorite games. That does help directly support these videos. If you aren't subscribed and are finding yourself watching the videos over and over again, we are insanely close to 100,000 subscribers now. In fact, by the time this goes out on YouTube, we might have even hit it, which is kind of mad to think about, if not very, very close to it. So thank you for subscribing and joining the channel, and it's so nice to see so many new comments and people just enjoying the videos. So yeah, it really humbles me. Thank you so much for enjoying it and continuing to support it on top of that as well. Otherwise, please do enjoy some cinematics of the new stadium today, but I'll show up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much indeed for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.